Hello everybody, welcome to HDpiano. My name is Dion, and in today's lesson we're learning how to play Highway to Hell by ACDC. In this part 1 video we'll show you how to play the intro and the verse. They sound like this. So we'll be breaking this song down to a few parts as always, so join me at hdpiano.com for the rest of the parts. And we're going to get stuck straight into learning how to play this really cool guitar riff on the piano. And that's right, there's no piano in this song, as you probably know. It's just guitars. So we're going to do our best to take what's happening in the rhythm guitars and play it for you on the piano. So our first chord as a guitarist would be a major chord. Now, because we're playing this on the piano, our chord voicings are going to be a little bit different to what you might normally expect for playing some chords. So in this case, we're playing an A major chord with this kind of evenly spaced A, E, and A voicing across your two hands. So your left hand is playing A and E, and your right hand is playing A. So there's no third in the chord at the moment, no C sharp, just A, E, and A. Our next chord shape is a D major chord shape. We're using F sharp as our lowest note, so it's a D on F sharp chord. Our left hand will be playing F sharp and D. Our right hand will be playing A and D. So a 4-note chord here. Makes a lot of sense on the guitar, but again, a bit of a different sort of chord voicing for piano. After our D on F sharp, we move to a G chord. And in this case, we're going to, again, not play any third. So it's just going to be G, D, G, and D. What you might see referred to as a G5 chord. That's a name given to a chord that doesn't have the third note in the middle. So there's no B in this to make it a G major or a G minor. It's just G's and D's. So I'll run you through the fingers we're using for those three chords. For our first chord, for our A fifth chord, we have our fifth finger on A with our left hand, our thumb with our left hand on E, second finger on A, and that's about it. When we change to our D on F sharp, left hand moves down to F sharp with our little finger, D with our thumb, right hand stays with A on our second finger, and D with our fifth finger, and our G chord, we move our little finger on our left hand to G, our thumb stays where it was on D, and with our right hand we play G with our thumb, and we stay on D with our fifth finger. So we had our A shape, our D on F sharp shape, and our G shape. So these are the three chords we use throughout the intro of the song and for most of the verse. So I'll teach you a little bit now about how these work with our counting. This riff uses something called anticipation, I guess, what we'd say the timing is with these chords. So what's happening is that our chords are happening just before beat 1 of each bar. So our first chord, which is our A major chord, happens on counts 3 and 4 and 4 and. So if we're counting through our bar, we would have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's this kind of timing, this and 4 and, that repeats quite a lot throughout this guitar piano riff. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So this is the feel we want to get used to. We're not ever playing on count 1 until we come all the way through our 4-bar cycle, which I'll show you what that means in a second. So we have to really make sure we're counting so we don't play on 1 when we don't want to. It's very hard not to play on beat 1 sometimes. So our first chord, our A chord, as you just heard, happens on and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Our D on F sharp chord happens on and 4, and then we change to G on our 4 and on our next bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You got that one? We'll run through that bar once more. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's put those 2 bars together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Our third bar, we repeat that same pattern of our D on F sharp chord to G. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And our fourth bar, it's a little bit busier, so we repeat our D on F sharp to G riff, this time over counts and 2 and. So we have 1 and 2 and. Then we return to our D on F sharp for count 3 and then move to A on our 4 and count. So really slowly, this bar would sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we're going to repeat that A on beat 1 of our next bar. Again from the start of this bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And then we start that cycle all over again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So it's pretty cool timing there. This is why this riff kind of really rocks out. And this is part of what makes it really fun to play guitar parts on piano, because sometimes guitarists think a little bit different to piano players. So we get to play something that's quite outside what we would normally do as piano players. Now at the end of each verse, we have one small change before we hit into the chorus. So as we've played through our last bar that we learned there, rather than returning to A, we go to an E5 chord. So we drop our little finger in our left hand to E. We're going to double that with an octave with our thumb, and then we're going to play another B and an E with our right hand as well. What we'd call kind of an E power chord if we were looking at it on guitar. I don't mind if you want to flesh out this chord a little bit more with a G sharp in there too. Or you can just leave it as a nice big kind of hollow power chord as a guitarist might. So we hit this E chord instead of an A chord. So we've landed on beat 1 of our next bar. We've had 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And then we're going to play it in 8th notes, so on every count and every end, starting on beat 2. So we've landed on beat 1, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We're going to stop on beat 4, give us a half a beat rest before we head into the chorus. So let's run through those couple of bars there again, sort of from the end of the verse. So let's do our last cycle through of the verse, starting with our A chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Whew, there we go. So this is how we play every verse in the song. There's a couple of verses. There's also the introduction, which plays through that main riff twice. Each verse plays through it 4 times with that E chord ending on the 4th time before we head into our chorus. How cool is that? So I decided to do this video because we lost Malcolm Young, who was the founding rhythm guitarist of ACDC, which is quite sad, and plus ACDC are a fantastic Australian band. And you can tell by my accent that I am Australian. So I thought it was about time to do this song. So in honor of Malcolm Young, I want to know below in the comments, what's your favorite guitar riff? And do you think it's possible to play it on the piano? Let me know. Might give us some new exciting ideas of how we can play some non-traditional piano songs here on HDpiano. So my name is Dion. Thank you so much for learning this part with me. As I said, make sure you join me at HDpiano.com for the rest of the song parts. And find us on all your social media at HDpiano. Head to requests.hdpiano.com to send us your requests of what you want us to teach you. And until next time, I'll see you here at HDpiano, the home of the hybrid piano lesson. See ya.